And we got Kevin McPherson with us from SportingLifeArkansas.com. You can read his articles there. He's also a contributor to Hogville.net, and you can also follow Kevin on Twitter at ARHoopscoop. And Kevin, how you doing today?
Doing great, Mike. Basketball, year-round. It doesn't sleep. There is no off-season. I know everybody's getting geared up for football, but we're going to talk hoops.
Well, one thing is you were telling me on the break here, you got some stuff for us on Josh LeBlanc and Moses Moody visiting this weekend.
Yeah, we've been talking about it. The start of all the visit weekends for the next three to 4 weeks kicks off, on Friday. Josh LeBlanc's coming into town. He's the 6'7" combo forward out of Baton Rouge, Louisiana. He was the Under Armour Defensive Player of the Year, had a big grassroots season, moved up. He was a real chart climber after July with all the national services. He's in the top 100 now in the composite national top 100 four-star player. Very versatile forward. He's a guy that I envision being a perfect fit for Arkansas because he can help out at that combo four, and also maybe to play some at the three. Very bouncy, one of the quickest jumpers and leapers I've seen. Great length, 7'1" wingspan on that 6'7" frame. But he's coming in this weekend. He's friends with Keyshawn Embry. They had originally planned to visit together, but Keyshawn, and we announced this on the show a few weeks ago, or last week, that he is going to be enrolling at IMG Academy for his senior season, leaving Midwest City High School out of Oklahoma City area. So he's moving into IMG down there in Florida this weekend and will not be able to visit Arkansas. He's rescheduled for the following weekend, September 1st to the 3rd. So he'll be coming in then. But so you've got Josh LeBlanc. Many people think that LSU's the front runner. He's there in Baton Rouge. That's where he lives. So it's be a lot easier for his family to attend his games and play for the hometown school. He's got a Final Four of LSU, Arkansas, Texas A&M, and Georgetown. He visited Georgetown a couple of weekends ago. But my gut tells me this is a two-horse race. If you think LSU's already going to get the young man, then that may be a good guess. But I think if it's not LSU, it's going to be Arkansas. I think it's down to those two. That's just me reading the tea leaves. But again, it's going to be hard to get him out of Baton Rouge. But if a school gets him out of there, I think it'll be Arkansas. Also, this weekend, Moses Moody, the 2020 shooting guard out of Little Rock, he'll actually be playing his sophomore season at North Little Rock after transferring from Little Rock Parkview, but he had a great spring and summer on the grassroots scene. He's a top 30 player according to a couple of national services. He's right on the cusp of being a five-star probably. Here's a guy that Arkansas, they don't typically offer players this early, but he's a guy that I think they could be targeting to give an offer to. They want to get him in on Sunday. That'll be, I believe, Josh LeBlanc will be traveling back home that day, and they want to give their full attention to Moses Moody. So we'll see how that goes. I can't promise he's going to get an offer, but I won't be surprised if he does get one. I think he's got to be at the top of Arkansas's wish list for that 2020 class. So that's going to be a big weekend right here before we even get to September, the end of August. Big recruiting weekend for Arkansas. We've talked about Matthew Horton a lot. He's originally from El Dorado. He played for a year with Dan Gafford, who's going to be a freshman at Arkansas this year, and then moved to Tuscaloosa, Alabama, and played out his last 2 years of high school there before going to Shelton State Community College there in Alabama. He's visiting Arkansas, taking an official visit September 8th to the 10th. And then he's going to visit Georgetown the following weekend. Now, Georgetown's already offered him. I think Arkansas will offer him. It's just a matter of probably him being on the visit. And my guess is he'll get an offer that weekend, if not sooner. He'll also visit Middle Tennessee State, who's offered him a while back. He'll visit them the weekend of September 1st through 3rd. But the big news right now on him is that Mississippi State's gotten involved. Now, Hog fans are probably sick of hearing about the Bulldogs because that's
kidding.
where Reggie Perry's committed and headed. But now Mississippi State's moving in on the big JUCO, the big man, Matthew Horton. So we'll see. He doesn't have an official visit set up yet with them, but he plans to. And then Western Kentucky's another program that offered him, and that may be his 5th official visit. So Hog fans need to pay attention to that. I know they're not going to like hearing about a Mississippi State visit, but we'll just track the progress of that situation and keep everybody up to date.
Now, And one thing too, I mean, you were glad to see, or you got to see some of Southwest Christian's newcomers and some pickup games this week as well. Tell us a little bit about what you saw there.
Yeah, these guys just reloaded. They had 5 guys. They had 5 seniors last year. 4 of those guys signed with Division I, including Gabe Osamoyan, who ended up at Arkansas. The 5th guy was injured most of the year, signed JUCO. Well, this past week, he's already picked up 2 Division I offers. So he may bypass JUCO altogether and squeeze in and start school somewhere on the Division I level. So 5 out of 5 ain't bad. And so Charles Baker, the head coach at Southwest Christian Academy, has done a great job of going out and recruiting more players from the international scene. He's got 4 guys coming in from Serbia. I got to see one of those 6'9", Simeon Jovic. I got to see him in pickup games earlier this week. He got Tim Caesar out of Marion, 2019, 6'8" power forward that Arkansas is recruiting. Got a lot of high major interest after playing really well in July with the Arkansas Hawks 16 and under organization. He looked really good in the scrimmages. Another young man out of Australia, Ecole Mullane, 6'8", very long, good athlete, high court IQ, really impressed me at both ends in these pickup games. And these are organized pickup games. You pickup games, full court, loser runs, but it's a little bit. There's not. They're trying to run the offense, and it's not like a playground pickup game. So you can pick some stuff out and really see what guys do well and what they need to work on. But man, this guy, Southwest Christian Academy, is just basically reloaded. I saw Jabril Price Noel. He's a 6'6", maybe between 6'6", 6'7", and I call him a point forward. Remember that old phrase that was coined when Paul Pressey back in the 80s playing in the NBA at Milwaukee. He's not a point guard, but he's the kind of guy that, coming off that wing, the ball's in his hands a lot. He can facilitate for others or find his own offense. Has a funny release on his shot, but man, he was smooth on the make. He hit a lot of threes in the pickup games that I've watched. Set other people up, gets to the basket. So this is a high major. I'm identifying probably 4 or 5 guys with high major potential, maybe 6, surefire mid-major guys. But you start talking about a pipeline in Arkansas. This is an independent school. They're not part of the AAA. We've talked a lot about that, but definitely something to keep an eye on. Every year these guys bring in players.
Well, one thing, Southwest Christian, of course, you talk about all the talent there. You talk about all the talent at North Little Rock, Parkview, et cetera. Arkansas, I mean, do you think per capita Arkansas is one of the best, if not the best, state for basketball recruiting per capita since it's such a small populated state?
Per capita, Arkansas's put out, and there was a study that Max Preps released that Arkansas put out. I think they were 6th in the country per 1 million residents in top 100 basketball players from a 5-year span of 2011 through 2015. So when they look at that, if they do that study again in the next 5-year span, Arkansas could climb that chart, and that's pretty impressive when you consider Arkansas is not what immediately comes to mind on a national level. For producing high level, high caliber, top 100 players in volume like that, but it's a fact. It's really quite amazing what the grassroots basketball scene and that says a lot about the Arkansas Wings and Hawks and some of the new programs that are popping up. Joe Johnson Elite, Team Superstar South. There's a lot of good basketball players and good basketball in Arkansas. There always has been, but I think it's gone to another level. A lot of it has to do with the exposure and just the competition. We talk about it all the time. Basketball season, really, these guys are being evaluated in the spring and summer when they're playing the best of the best and getting multiple opportunities to be seen by coaches at all levels, high major, mid major, low major. So big time stuff going on in basketball. And speaking of the Hogs, the SEC released the scheduling today for all teams in the league. So we know the dates. We already knew the opponents, but now we know the dates. And Arkansas, their home schedule, they've got 5 Saturday games against SEC teams, which is good for fans, Mm-hmm. Those are your marquee games typically, and so anytime you can get a good, you play 9 home games during the 18-game SEC schedule, so if you get more than half of those at home, that's a good thing. For the second time in school history and second year in a row, Arkansas will open up in December, open up SEC play. It'll be Saturday, December 30th against Tennessee. Arkansas The reason that is because Arkansas is participating again in the SEC Big 12 Challenge, and those games are played in January. So to accommodate that kind of a schedule, they have to bump an SEC game now into December. So Arkansas will kick off SEC play again before the turn of the new year. They'll play Kentucky. They host Kentucky this year. They'll call it Super Tuesday. It's going to be February 20th. So you're looking at a sort of a marquee, looking down the line game as you start to get, you've moved through a good part of your SEC schedule. And we'll see where both of those teams are at that time. That could be as big of a game that you'll see between those two teams in Fayetteville since going back to the 90s. It has that potential, I think, this season because it's, they've been playing earlier. They've been playing each other in January. Now it's setting up a little later. And I think the TV gods wanted it that way. I think Arkansas is starting to finally get on the map with on a national scene. They have been the second-best program next to Kentucky these last 3 years when you look at total wins, SEC record, SEC road record, SEC tournament final appearances, NCAA tournament appearances. So, maybe things are starting to move in the right direction for these two teams to battle at the top of the league again.
All right, well, Kevin, we're about to hit a commercial break. I want to thank you, as always, for the great coverage. Guys, follow Kevin on Twitter at ARHoopScoop. Read his articles on SportingLifeArkansas.com, and, of course, he contributes to Hogville.net. Kevin, it's good from hearing from you, and we'll talk to you Monday.
Great to be with you guys, Mike. Thank you.
Thank you.